And spawning in the top right hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the Chinese Protoss player. He is purple, representing Team LP. It is Jieshi.
Alright, good old TVP. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, right? Like, I was really looking forward to the TVZ to open things up.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you saw, it was a bit of a surprising result on the mainstream. Wanted versus Time went all the way to the ace match.
Yeah, it really did. It really went all the way. Very interesting match. Very fun to watch. Time always fantastic watch, but Wanted really pulling everything out.
Exactly, and I love to see it, right? Wanted a bit of an underdog coming in very strong with like prepared builds, and we'll see how these two players start off here as well. Already XY being a little bit cheeky.
Yeah, starting off with a little bit of an NG block onto the natural there, delaying things. Though some very early probe pulls, getting the SCV off of that eBay. Making sure it doesn't go up too much. Shouldn't be the biggest hassle in the world.
Yeah, just a little bit annoying, right? Just forcing the natural to be a little bit delayed, messing up the opener a little bit for Jieshi, but you know, not the biggest of deals here. And we'll see how these players do, especially because XY, like, he's a very veteran player. He's one of the older players in the scene in the region, and I remember last season he did surprisingly well. I remember he went up against Time, took some maps, he made it all the way to the playoffs. Kind of surprised everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. No, for sure. XY's been a very long-standing player in the community, and it's always good to see him doing well.
Definitely, and we'll see how he does here against Jieshi again. Like, there isn't much going on here. We have some pretty standard openers. Unfortunately, like, there was no like double or triple racks opening from XY. I would expect to see something more of like a standard 1-1-1 here.
Yep, nothing too spicy to start things off. Pretty standard TVP so far. Nothing too strange happening here. A little bit of a Reaper snipe. Twilight Council coming out again. Nothing super interesting as of yet.
Yeah, like, obviously we see that Twilight Council, so we should have a blink opening here from Jieshi. There we go.
Yeah.
Opting not to start with like a Stargate for a Phoenix opener or anything like that.
Yeah, so playing up for those gateway units, those stalkers, and we'll see if XY decides to keep going to these mines, or if he opts for anything other options. Looks like he might be dumbing down here. We'll have to see.
Yeah. Again, I mean, Blink is a pretty versatile opener when it comes to being defensive, right? You have your stalkers. Ideally you're ready to defend against any kind of early game aggression, and that's what I was like really waiting for XY, right? Where we're going to see like a Banshee opener or like a Hellion drop. We see that he's kind of already decided on his tech choice.
Yeah, looking pretty strong into those Widow Mines. Hasn't made anything else.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's going to be looking to go for a bit of a Widow Mine drop here. Already 3 Widow Mines are on the way. He was a little bit supply blocked, so it's a little bit late, but regardless, he's going to be sending them. And I mean, I guess thankfully for Jieshi, like, he's not going to have to contend with like an armory behind this to like require detection to help deal with these Widow Mines. But interestingly enough, XY, he's even moving out with his Marines.
Yeah, he's gonna try and poke in a little bit here with a few of these Marines. See if he can get a little bit of potential probe damage done on the front side of things while the Widow Mine drop hits the main. But does get caught out by a very small force of stalkers here. Just trading out a little bit. The blink coming through, showing itself.
Yeah.
As Widow Mines into the main.
I mean,
splits, early reaction.
I love that, right? Like, the Marines that were busy like dealing with all the stalkers, but Jieshi, he did pay attention. Does pull away just in time.
Yep, he's on top of it. No, he's absolutely keeping on top of it and able to get out of that with only two probes lost.
Oh yeah, that that was getting a little bit scary there. But I mean, as we saw, Jieshi, he was able to defend. Oh, sorry, to deal with the Marines and also deal with the Widowmines at the same time, and only 2 probes, not bad.
Yeah, pretty much comes out as just like a handful of Marines traded for 1 Stalker.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Meanwhile, we see Jieshi, you know, now that he has defended with his Blink Stalkers, he isn't like necessarily going to be too aggressive with them. He does have a War Prism on the way though, and with this he can just, you know, send it across the map, could even threaten these bases, right? Like we've seen time and time again these Protoss players, like, you know, try to find a way into the main base if it's left undefended.
Yeah, trying to find those little those little spots on the cliff with no buildings, just trying to hopping over, get a bit of damage done before the Terra notices.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, XY, I love that he's, you know, he's not stopping with the aggression. He keeps dipping in here with the Raven. Scan sees, yo, the army is not quite in position, and even if it is, like, this is a pretty strong force.
Yeah, this is a pretty decent sized Bioforce here. No medevacs to defend here, but there is a siege tank on the back of this. And here comes another one, able to set up this choke point. I'm gonna be very careful with this bio because there is, again, there are no medevacs here. There's Stim's still not here. Plus on the way. Oh, but Blink on top of the unsieged tanks.
Oh my god, yeah, everything is gonna get cleaned up. At the same time, sure, there's a little bit of harassment, but it's not really dealing too much. Like, I was so surprised by the aggression from XY. As you said, like, he hit before Stim, he hit before Medevacs. Like, I guess it hits pretty early because of that, and maybe he was trying to catch his opponent unawares, but it kind of fell on his face.
Yeah, he was probably trying to find a little window there where Jieshi would be like thinking, you know, Stim's not done yet, I should be fine, and try and catch him up, but clearly not. He was pretty ready. Caught unsieged in a choke point by Blink Stalkers, and yeah, loses that entire force.
Yeah, that was a pretty big loss as well, not gonna lie. Like, losing 2 tanks like that, like, imagine if he had waited for all these upgrades that just finished up, Stim, combat shields, +1, and he had 5 tanks moving out. Like, that'd be insane.
Yeah.
But that's
he's only got 3 tanks. A little bit of a Stalker harassment in here. Trying to slow down the third base coming down, as the third base is still not quite down yet for XY. Big drop coming into the main though.
Yeah, exactly. A massive Dune drop here into the main base. Unfortunately, Jieshi was a little bit out of position. At the same time, he tries to counterattack with Zealots, but there's plenty here to defend at home. But this drop, yo, there's still not an answer.
Yeah, this is ripping through the production here. Picks up an Immortal too. That's pretty big. 3 medevacs too. Should be able to keep this going for a little bit. Moving now onto the Stalkers in the back of the mineral line. Trying to get a little bit of damage in that mineral line, but just ends up being a little bit of a trade here. Just take out a couple of production buildings, which is pretty nice. Yeah, nothing too significant, but pretty okay damage for just a little bit of bio.
Yeah, I think that's the important part, right? Like, earlier, like, the tank count was basically reset, and that was devastating. But, you know, picking off an Immortal like that and escaping with a lot of the bio, like, that was a pretty good trade.
Yeah, just a very nice trade. Nothing game changing, but at the same time a nice way to catch up after losing out on that little push onto the third base there.
Definitely, and thankfully, you know, XY, he's dealt with all the aggression that was hitting his bases earlier. He gets his third base up and running. He's pushing out once again, and this time he's pushing out with those upgrades that we were talking about.
Yep, he's got 3 tanks. He's got Stim. He's got +1. He's got medevacs here too. Pretty nice little siege tank position on this corner. And a couple of Widowmines even to back him up on these charge lots.
Oh yeah,
just poking in here.
I was a little bit worried, but that War Prism from Jieshi still hasn't hit. So right now, XY, all he has to worry about is this main army. Oh my god, the tank shots go off on the Zealots.
Those tanks putting in work under these Zealots. They all end up getting cleaned up as the bio starts pushing forward a little bit here. It's just Marauders right now. But just Marauders and 3 siege tanks is nothing to scoff at.
Oh yeah, mate, they're doing work. Oh my god.
Yeah. +1 and Stim absolutely shreds through everything with these Marauders.
There's just...
wow. He just taps out.
That there was just nothing there. Oh my god.
Yeah, no. The army just died.
It was kind of shocking. Like, I thought Jieshi was in a pretty good position. I think his fourth was on the way. Maybe he was being a little bit too greedy. But I guess it goes to show, like, you know, losing your immortals earlier on like that, like, it really does impact that fight. Also, he wasn't really trading the best, right? We saw like we saw the Zealot count essentially reset before the fight happened.
Yeah, no, to the long range siege tank shots from the corner. Yeah, absolutely doing work.
Yeah. Oh my god. And with that, XY does take the first game. As a reminder, this is a best of 3 series. This is also the first series of Group B. Over on the mainstream, I believe they are covering Maxed versus Coffee, another TVP. So nothing but Terran and Protoss here in Group B. Unfortunately, there are no Zergs. Yeah, feels bad, man. I remember I was casting the qualifiers with Yaku, and we were cheering so hard for at least some Zerg players to make it through. We're like, you can do it, but they couldn't quite make it out.
Didn't happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh god, feels bad, man. But here we are.
That's bad, right?
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's a bit of a shame, but I'm sure there are some names that you casted last season or last year and they're not here anymore. Probably one of the biggest ones is Jigua, Watermelon. Like he, I believe he did kind of step away and retire from the game, and he was the one kind of like holding that Zerg flag for the longest time.
Yeah, absolutely. He was very much like probably the most recognizable of the Zergs, I would imagine. From the Chinese region. I guess Wanted's kind of having to step up and take the plate on that one.
Yeah.
Should
as we are getting ready for the next game, but yeah, it's kind of a weird position that Wanted has been put in, right? Like for the longest time, he was he was just the up and comer, and then suddenly he's potentially the best Zerg player in the region. Just out of nowhere. It's
no. Yeah, there's a pretty large gap in like the Zerg pool in the Chinese region, compared to the Terrans and Protosses, for sure, especially at the top level.
Definitely. We're just having
Yeah, we're just waiting for people to get in. I don't know why lobby links aren't working for me.
Oh, they're not working for you. Okay, I thought it was just me. Okay.
Yeah, no, I tried doing a lobby link and it just shows something in blue text and I don't know what it means.
Yeah. Okay. So that's another. Again, I apologize again with the delays and maybe we seem a little bit distracted. That's because we are trying to set things up over on the Chinese server, and there seem to be a couple of issues, a couple of bugs. We're trying to send out invites, but there are certain things that aren't available to us. We can't like send out lobby links or anything like that. So we're relying on the help of our fellow admin to rally the players and get them in here.
Yep. Hopefully getting things sorted as quickly as possible.
Definitely. But yeah, it's cool to see both these players here. Again, when it comes to game number 1, like there isn't too much to really go over. Like Jieshi, he had, I guess, a pretty strong start dealing with the Widow Mines and the Marines. I was honestly a little bit surprised. I was expecting him to go for more of a counterattack and apply aggression and keep XY at home, but we never really saw that. Even towards the end, the War Prison went across the map, but it was just chilling in the corner, you know.
Yeah, it was just in the corner. There was no response while he's getting pushed from the third base. Yeah, not too sure what was going on there. Yeah, trying to focus really hard on that fight, I guess, and didn't end up sparing a couple of weapons for Zealots potentially into the main base to pull XY's attention away. And yeah, no, it just ended up being a loss to just sheer force of XY's army over at the third base.
Yeah, and it's part of me is like it's a bit of a shame because he did so well like holding off the aggression earlier, but I guess he didn't really have too much vision out on the map, wasn't really prepared for that push. But hopefully things can change here as we're loading into game 2.
Yeah, finally got things sorted. Again, sorry about that. The Chinese client, I believe, is just having problems overall today.
Yeah.
Making things a little bit difficult to get started.
Yeah.
But we will be loading in here to map 2
That's
of
it.
the series.
Do hope that people can forgive for the rocky start, but here we go. We're diving into game number 2, and oh my, who do we have here in the top left?
Well, we're loaded in here to Lightshade LE, and joining us in the top left-hand corner of the map, the blue Terran player playing for Invictus Gaming. It is XY.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Chinese Protoss player. He is purple, representing Team LP. It is Jieshi. I'm pronouncing that right? Am I?
Yeah, good enough.
Okay.
Good enough for someone that didn't grow up speaking Mandarin.
I'm trying.
You're doing your best, and that's what counts.
Yes. I didn't quite recall.
At least it's not like how Pig pronounces it.
Oh, how does he pronounce? Oh, Jieshi, right?
Yeah. Which is not even close. I will have words with that man. Well, actually, he doesn't know who I am. So I will not be having words with him. But I wish I could have words with him. Because I need to teach him a couple of things about pronouncing Mandarin words.
Did we ever figure out? I remember you told us that Jigua translates to watermelon. Does Jieshi have a translation? What Jieshi?
Jieshi. I'm not fluent enough to remember anything. I can't think of it. I think it might just be a name.
Okay.
Like I think it might literally just be a name.
Okay.
Because Sigua is just watermelon, you know, watermelon. Whereas Jieshi, I can't think of any words. Like, well, I'm sure there are words. I just can't really associate it with anything.
Okay.
I'm not too sure.
That's fair. I know XY. I believe XY are just his initials. I could be wrong on that one, but there's nothing too crazy about that.
I mean, Jieshi could literally just be like a nickname.
True. Very true. As we are getting into game 2 here, and there's nothing too crazy going on. XY was actually just like diligently scouting the edges of the map just in case there was something crazy going on, in case it was a proxy.
Just making sure, double checking, being 100%.
Yeah. And I don't blame him, because a map like this, you know, especially in TVP, it's very common. I recall that you were still active in the game when this was happening. I could be wrong, but like proxy void ray with shield battery pushes, like just outside the main. Yeah.
That sure was a thing that happened. Yeah, on this map.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely recall that one.
I love how your immediate reaction is like a trigger, like PTSD inside you. You're like, oh god, don't remind me. Like, I remember that.
I have a little bit of Protoss trauma.
But that does still happen from time to time. I'm sorry to say.
Tragic. My disappointment is immeasurable and my day's ruined.
Yeah, it's as you can imagine, it's more common on a map like this. We do see it on some of the others, but a lot of it does have to do with this map pool being around for a long time. You know, hopefully once we get another, we can say goodbye to something like that. At least the anti-Protoss inside me is saying that.
Yeah, I've heard that Terrans like proxy over on like the linear third behind the mineral line.
Oh, yeah. That they do.
Like, they hide Raxus back there. That's something that I imagine happens, and I've heard happens.
There's
Very sneaky.
There's a very spicy proxy factory build where you proxy the factory here, and then you lift it up and you land it in the main base. And it's hidden.
Yeah.
Oh god, it's disgusting.
That is pretty nasty.
Speaking of disgusting, there's no wall. There's no wall. Oh no.
Yeah, this wall is very much open as Widowmines and Hellions come through into the middle line here. Ooh, Widowmine shot take out 9 as the Hellions make work of this middle line.
Oh my.
Jeez.
Yes, 16. That's essentially the entire mirror line just got eviscerated.
That is like game-ending levels of probe kills this early into the game. Like that's literally the entirety of the Naturals mineral line. It's gone.
Oh my god! And then now it's on Jieshi. Jieshi needs to counterattack here and now. And at the moment he does have blink, but there is a tank here at the natural.
There's a tank and there's a bunker, and we've got more bio sitting in the back here. Another tank coming out too, sitting over this wall. This is gonna be really tough to crack if he really wants to. But he has to. I mean, he's so far behind.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. The War Prison finally comes across the map. We do have vision here on the high ground, but because Jieshi kind of like revealed his hand here at the natural, like XY knows how under threat he is. Like he's already shelled away at the Stalkers. Like they're already weakened. Trying to blink into the main, it's going to be a little bit harder to pull off.
Yeah, we've got a Raven, a Siege tank, and Marines sitting up here waiting for it too. They're ready.
And I guess it's understandable, but Jieshi, he just decides not to. He's just chilling outside the base. And because of that, like, sure, he has a third Nexus, right? He can try and catch up in the worker count here, but doing nothing after what he was just dealt, like, that's rough.
Yeah, I think he's going to be playing catch up for quite a bit, even if he does, you know, start pulling ahead in workers again due to having a third. Like in terms of tech, he's going to be behind on his build. Having been behind in probes so long and having to focus all of his minerals towards those probes. Yeah, we'll have to see how he deals with this and how he tries to catch up. Looks like a little bit of a drop coming in here.
Yeah.
Gonna try and hit the mineral line.
Charge is done with his zealots. He's just diving on in. The tank did unsiege, and the army is a little bit out of position.
Yeah, everything walked away right as the charge lots came into the main, and the damage is coming through. 10 ACV is going down already, 11, 12. Pretty decent damage. This will get cleaned up, but training out a little bit. But at this point in the game, 12 SCVs is worth a lot less than 16 probes at the point in the game when that happened.
This is true. This is very true. A very interesting thing though is that XY doubled down, and he still has not made a third CC. And he should have one by now.
Yeah, at least built. Maybe not landed yet, but definitely built by now. But instead he's just focused hard on the bio and Siege tank. Dude, he's making more axes.
Exactly. I don't think XY intends to expand. I think he's just building up for one massive 2-base push. Jieshi, he's doing a really good job at like slowing him down and harassing, but he needs to recognize what's happening and he needs to prepare at home.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's ready for this move out. As the drop is coming in here towards the main. On the bottom side of the map, 2 full medevacs. Ooh, he does have units here.
Yeah, he's got units. He's got a shield battery as well, just in case XY commits, and it looks like he's going to. Meanwhile, here comes the massive push across the map.
Ooh, 4 siege tanks marching across the map. The double drop comes into the main here. And start hitting that production, working on those defense units. Shield battery doing a little bit of work. These charge lots actually cleaning up quite nicely here. As the rest of the army gets pushed back by another huge charge lot force here into a choke point.
I love the hallucination, by the way.
Yeah, hallucinating a Colossus. These Immortals are shredding through the tanks though, because they don't get a chance to siege. They're just kind of stuck in the choke point. Yeah,
exactly. Like the problem with XY's push, as he literally just loses everything, is that a lot of his Marines were in the drop. They weren't there to protect the tanks. The tanks were pretty naked, as we saw. and they were on siege, and they never did siege.
Yeah, no, he just held position in that choke point trying to stop the charge lots, but in the end it just ends up with the charge lots shredding through the Marines and the Immortals shredding through the tanks.
Yeah, and now what does XY do? Like, he was going for a massive 2-base push, and if he was siege, it would have been amazing. But at this point, it's kind of late, and that's why he still doesn't have a third. He's just going for another wave, and he's pulling the boys!
Oh, he's pulling the boys. Oh my god, he's pulling so many. I mean, I knew about pulling SCVs with the bio tank push, but you don't usually pull this. But oh, he's pulling everything.
Mate, you got it right. Like, the game ends soon, one way or the other. You know,
Yeah.
either the all-in fails or Jieshi dies, and oh god, I was about to say.
Yeah, that sure is an all-in.
This is definition of an all-in. I was a little bit worried. I was like, yo, if Jieshi can stop him from getting through the choke point, maybe he can hold. But he didn't, and now, like, this is a decent position. The tanks are sieged.
Yeah, the tanks are sieged up. The SCVs are doing the job. They've held all the charge lots, and all of them are dead. And there's nothing else much in the backline except for the Colossus. And without the charge lots to stop the forces of the bio and the tanks, that Colossus is in danger of getting stimmed on.
Oh yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, here we go. We have another fight. All the charge lots are going down. As you said, there's just not a lot to protect the Colossus.
Yeah, it's just 1.5 health Colossus here as the super battery's starting to finish up. Slowly leapfrogging the tanks up with a couple of Liberators here. The bio's starting to push in. There are now 2 Colossi. He's got to be a bit more careful here. But with just the sheer amount of bio he has, he should be able to just start leapfrogging his siege units up here onto the third base.
Yep, third base, it is going to go down. I do like that Jieshi gave it up. He's like, you know what, I'm not going to waste any time here. I'm just going to evacuate to my natural, but he needs a little bit more time. He doesn't have 3 Colossus. Like, that's pretty huge. He just needs a little bit more army to support it.
Yeah, and XY here doing a really good job of leapfrogging these Liberators and these tanks up to keep the army of Jieshi zoned out as pylons go down here. There's just actually like a mega supply block, and
oh yeah,
this all in starting to gain ground.
It really is. Oh god, a couple more shots go off. Liberator does get picked off.
A little bit of a misposition for that Liberator, a little bit eager with that siege up. Does get sniped off by the Blink Stalkers. But this tank line, it's looking fearsome.
It's scary. It's scary, and it's getting closer. And Jieshi lost a lot there trying to pick off one of the tanks, and the tank didn't even die. Meanwhile, XY is edging ever closer. Shield battery gets popped.
Yep, super battery is going off. The Liberator gets picked off. The bio here split up. But these tanks doing quite a lot of work. This Colossi shredding through the Marines. The Blink Stalkers on top of the tanks, and this is looking like the end of the game here for XY. Even with these reinforcements coming through, there is not a lot left for him.
No, that all-in was surprisingly close.
Yeah, no. He did a lot more damage than I was expecting him to.
Exactly. I was like, yo, Jieshi, all he has to do is hold that choke point in the middle of the map, and then he abandoned it. And I was like, oh no, the army's coming. Oh my god, but thankfully, Jieshi was patient, right? Like, didn't overcommit at the third base.
Yeah, no. Yeah, if he had overcommitted, that would have caused a lot of problems. But no, he backed off. He waited for his next couple of Colossi, and oh, what the hell? Sorry, the client's being strange.
It's so good. But yeah, it was patient. As you were saying, you know, backing up that Colossus, getting it a little bit higher and higher. At the end, he did have 3 in total. And it was just barely enough. I think at the end there, XY had like 12 SCVs against like 62 probes.
Yeah. No, he was like down to 12 or 13 or something.
God, that was intense. And now we're going to the ace match. We're going to the ace match between these two players. It is going to be on 2,000 atmospheres. That is the map of choice. And we'll see how this goes here, because again, we've had a bit of a back and forth. I do think that Jieshi, maybe he needed some time to really warm up there after game number 1, and that was a lot more solid.
Yeah, definitely a lot more solid play coming through here from Jieshi. Yeah, seeming like it going fairly evenly in the series so far.
Mhm.
Both games have kind of gone a little bit back and forth and ended quite convincingly one way or another. Um, and yeah,
Mhm.
as we wait for the players to join the lobby. It's very interesting to see how these players deal with the TVP meta. Um,
Mhm.
Again, those aggressive drops of XY in the second game, that last game there, really giving him an advantage, but unfortunately not able to capitalize all the way to a win.
Yeah, that's something that I have to remember, right? Because that game did start with XY killing 16 probes, which was huge, and it also continued on where Jieshi didn't counterattack, right? Like XY,
Yeah,
he was fine. A lot of it did probably come down to just how he executed that push, right? And how he lost like 5 tanks in the middle of the map for free, if you recall.
yeah, no. Getting caught out there like that and just not being ready for it and being distracted just
Mhm.
really was a pretty big swing point for him, to the point that's what led him to all in there
Mhm.
with the huge SCV pull, taking like 40 SCVs with him.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. That was
I believe,
it's a game-defining moment there. As it looks
yeah,
like, our admin is
yeah.
having a lobby
Our
bug.
admin is, yeah, having a little bit of trouble. Should I just remake?
No, we should be good. He's currently just restarting his client, I believe. So he should be with us shortly as we get ready for our ace match. And as a reminder, this will be our final game today as well. Bit of a shorter
Mm-hmm.
broadcast, bit shorter.
Yeah, I'm only gonna be casting one match today. Again, the scheduling problems that came up as a result of Firefly dropping out, um, ended up leading to the mainstream doing the games for Group A,
Mhm.
and we're just doing the one game for Group B, and we'll be doing another match from Group B tomorrow.
Mhm. That we will. That we will. The elimination match for Group B will be tomorrow. That's what we'll be casting here. So it'll be the loser of this series and the loser of Coffee versus Maxed.
Max said, "Yep, that's the one."
Yes, yes. We finally have our admin here, and now in come the players.
Yay, we got it sorted.
Oh, we did. God.
Yeah, and we should be able to get things going.
Didn't take too long. Players are readying up, and then
Waiting.
we can start.
Yep. Again, sorry for the delays. The Chinese client has been a little bit weird recently, as far as I'm aware, and we've been having a little bit of trouble navigating it and getting things to work. Lobby links aren't working, things like that. Cool.
Yep. But you know what?
The 4 messages to me in XY is ready.
Exactly. Like, despite all these issues, we made it. We made it through. We made the lobbies. We're in our series. We're getting into the ace match, the final game here between these two players. And does anyone have it in them to go for a proxy in game number 3? That's my question.
In a game 3, I mean, you never know. Someone could really bank on it for whatever reason. Just decide game 3. Yeah, sure, why not?
That's what
Gamble it.
that's what separates, some of the pros to like someone like Maru.
Yeah, one of them thinks, the other proxies. As we load in here to 2,000 atmospheres, joining us on the bottom left-hand corner of the map, the blue Terran player playing for Invictus Gaming. It is, of course, XY.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres, LE, we have the Chinese Protoss player. He is purple, representing Team LP. It is Jieshi.
Alright, keeping my eye on the minimap here. Oh, looks like the Rex will be in the main.
So disappointed.
Well, I say the Rex will be in the main.
True.
We'll have to see when it finishes.
Very
where the
true.
factory goes.
Exactly. Where the factory goes, where the starport goes as well. I think something that's interesting is that both games so far, XY has utilized Widow Mines in some way.
He has. He had the combination Widow Mine drop and Hellion push in that second game. In the first game, he did set off a Widow Mine drop and used it to protect his backline a little bit. Yeah, he's been on the Widow Mine train, even though he's been primarily heavy into the siege tanks in terms of his mechanical units.
Yeah, and we'll see how he responds here, because I think the other thing that XY has shown us, especially in game number 2, is how stubborn he can be sometimes, or like he's like, you know what, I'm gonna all in. Doesn't matter what happens. I'm not taking a third. It's just not happening. And he just stuck to his guns, which in some ways is admirable, but in others it was also his downfall in a way, right?
Yeah, where he just kind of flips the switch and is like, all right, it's either I go all in and lose, or I lose.
Exactly. Oh god.
Yeah, he's either all on or all off.
And speaking of all on or all on, he's going for a 2x opening, and
yeah,
I expect we're gonna see a third one as well.
Yep, looking like a little bit of a 3x opening. We'll see what he does with it. Yeah, definitely spicy. Here comes the Adept.
Exactly, and now it's going to be on Jieshi to scout this and figure out what is coming his way. Obviously, we're not going to have any kind of early game harassment. Instead, we're going to have this slow build-up of mass bio units that is going to hit pretty hard, to be honest. And it could catch our Protoss player off guard if he doesn't scout this.
Yeah, if he's not ready for this, this could be absolutely painful. But that Adept does get taken out before anything gets seen, though that is a suspicious amount of Marines for not having a Reaper. I'd be a little bit wary if I didn't see a Reaper and just saw 3 Marines.
Yeah, it's very greedy, right? They didn't scout or anything like that. There weren't any Hellions.
Yeah, no Hellions. Like, there should be Hellions like halfway across the map already by now.
So now it's on Jieshi to like slowly piece things together here and prepare. At the same time, like, if he's playing safe and standard anyway, like, he should be okay. We do see a shield battery, so that's at least it's a step in the right direction.
He's being cautious. Not overcommitting to a defense because he doesn't quite know what's happening, but he's playing a little bit careful, making just in case.
Yeah, and he won't really have eyes on this until this observer comes across the map, which will still take some time. And meanwhile, that bio army, it's getting larger and larger. Stim and combat shields, they're almost done. They're gonna finish up by the time this army gets across the map.
Yeah, this is gonna be a very, very nice timing. Everything is gonna hit right as those upgrades come through, and that little bit of a health boost and that stim, really nice combination for a push here. As the observer will catch the army.
Oh yeah, now he knows. Now he's morphing in some units, and unfortunately, Jieshi was being a little bit greedy. He got a third base. He's working on a robo for Colossus. He does not have a lot of gateways to work with.
Yeah, no, he hasn't been making units at all for the most part. He's just been probing up, getting his third, teching up really aggressively. He put down that shield battery just to be careful, of course. But I don't think he was. I think he was expecting something that would hit faster or much later.
Definitely.
Not something quite like this.
Regardless, the Blink Stalker micro is pretty good. I say that he loses another Stalker, but it's okay. Oh.
Yeah. Well, that observer's passed away.
Yeah, F's in the chat for that observer. But it did its job, right? Without it, Jieshi would have died, honestly. Or could have died, right?
I mean, it was still a very late scout because he caught him like literally in the ramp in front of the open space in front between his natural and his third.
Mhm.
So like it was very late when he caught it, but at least he caught it.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the second wave is coming across the map. Ooh, nice scout with the Zelnaga. Jieshi also scouts this.
Yeah, he does see this coming on the flank. He is quite prepared. Playing in those bushes, making sure he gets those shots off first.
Mhm.
He will give up the position.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, like, this aggression from XY, it's so risky to do because he's been doing all of this without medevacs. Again, he delayed his starport because of the 3 racks. Finally, they're on the way, and XY hasn't really been able to do much with his army. Like, if we look at the units lost, he's lost 14 Marines already and hasn't really shown much for it.
Yeah, he's mostly been trying to take some trades since Jieshi is pretty prepared for this at this point. With the amount of blink stalkers he has. And without medevacs, he can't really afford to keep stimming for fights. So he's just mostly been wandering around looking for pickoffs.
Exactly. But now finally the first couple of medevacs are coming out. They're gonna meet up with the army, gonna try and maybe go into the main base. Speaking of Jieshi, he's got his Colossus defending his third, and he's already got Blink Stalkers protecting the main.
Yeah, he's ready. He's stacked up on the attack. He got into those Colossi real quick. He's even got a little bit of Templar archives coming along too. Looking to tech towards those Templars and those Archons.
Yeah, working on diversifying that AoE. Meanwhile, the drop comes in. It does get spotted by this observer, so Jieshi is well aware, and the drop just gets a cancel on the 4th.
Yep, no biggie. Just a little bit of a delay as another drop comes in here on the north side onto the 3rd base. That oh my goodness, those Colossi shredding through the bio.
Yeah, that was maybe not the best move. XY sword as well. Like, he scanned ahead, is like, yo, I got this, and then the Colossus just activated. It's like, maybe it wasn't the best idea. Does back up.
Yeah. Only 3 Colossi?
Then after the fight, he's like, oh my god, there were 3 Colossi. It's like,
why did I run in there?
Oh god, XY. Okay, he backed off in the end. He does regroup his army. Now he has 1 strong force out on the map. Could try and go for a Doom Drop, but again, there is an observer here and it sees everything.
Yeah, really good observer positioning from Jieshi so far this match. Yeah, no, it's been catching everything. As he does go for that Doom Drop into the main, dropping into that production, into that tech. He will snipe out that +2. And he'll just pick up and leave. He's like happy with that forge.
Is he happy with that?
I mean, he picked off an upgrade while it was happening. That's
True.
a nice delay.
True. He does escape with a lot of his army, thankfully.
Yeah, he didn't lose too much, just a handful of Marines. Trading that out for a +2. You know, having to be restarted after remaking a forge. I wouldn't say it's the worst thing in the world.
Definitely. Looks like he wants to try and find a way in again, and the army has moved out already. Oh my god, forces everything to turn back around.
Yeah, very nice move here, coming back in for round 2. Pulling, the blink. Sorry, just pulling Jieshi's army back home, thinking it was more of a threat, but the blink stalkers picking up a medevac here, and now they're just kind of stuck there.
Yeah, there's no way out. Unfortunately, Terran can't recall like Protoss can. So
No,
so
it's not a feature.
it's not, unfortunately. So they're stuck here for now. Maybe Jieshi will like abandon his base and then they can find another way back in. But regardless, that was a really nice move to pull Jieshi back home, right, to stop the attack. We see a scan. Oh, the drop, trying to sneak into the natural.
Ooh. He abandoned the shark.
I forgot about the shark.
The shark!
Oh god.
Ooh, these marauders. Oh my god, so many marauders.
Man, can he get the Nexus?
Yes, he snipes it off with the marauders. Marauders absolutely doing work on buildings here. Able to pick off that 4th Nexus. Pretty critical.
Oh yeah.
Even if that's the only damage he did. He traded out like what? 5 Marauders for an entire Nexus?
Yeah, yeah. Yo, that was well worth it in the end, especially because Jieshi was meant to be in position to defend his 4th base, and he wasn't. And now XY, he's got his 4th up and running, he's working on his 5th behind this. And what's important is that he's been so active and aggressive with bio units. That tank count has slowly been getting higher and higher.
Yeah, he hasn't lost any tanks. He's been playing entirely with this drop bio composition here. Focused on poking and harassing different parts of the map. Not really being afraid to trade it out because, again, it's just bio. Bio is a lot easier to replace than tanks. And those tanks are ready for if XY decides to move out, which, well, I guess I manifested it.
Yeah, as soon as you said it, XY heard you. He's like, you know what? So I agree. I think it's a good time to move out right now, and not just the tanks. He's also got a bunch of ghosts in here as well.
Yeah, he's got 3 ghosts with like half energy. He's got like 1,700 tanks. He's on the way out.
He's got almost as many Vikings as well to help deal with the Colossus. Just quickly checking, Storm was never researched, by the way. Like, I feel like Jieshi's army. Yeah.
He only went for Archons, yeah.
Oof.
All those tanks really doing work. Ooh, that's a pretty big run by over here, though. Nothing here to defend, just a couple of Marauders.
Yeah, XY basically sent his entire army across the map. He just didn't really have much to defend at home, so these Zealots are getting work done.
Yeah, this is just a pretty nice distraction here. Trading out here, which is forcing XY's hand. It's either he pushes out or goes back home, and it looks like he's going to be doubling down.
Definitely, and now finally XY pulls the trigger, but enough time has passed and Disruptor came out! Oh my god!
He manages to click on it in time.
Oh, jeez.
Barely managed to click on it.
That was terrifying.
Almost went off.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the robot went down as well. The tanks are slowly leapfrogging forward. Meanwhile, those Zealots, they're finally getting cleaned up, but they got a lot of damage done.
Yeah, but I think at this point in the game, both players are pretty committed to this. Jieshi either has to defend or he loses, and XY has to win this attack or he loses. As we're coming in here, this Colossi doing massive work under this bio, and the DT's coming in too to absolutely shred through the army, and everything's just gone.
Yo, those DTs were not gonna lie, they were the MVP. They snuck in there, and they were never scanned. They were never EMP'd. They just slashed away at the bio, just crushing the ghosts, and then in came the Protoss.
Yeah, no, that was like an absolute crush. Those Colossi did not get dealt with quickly enough. They were too well protected. Too much of a buffer with those charge slots, those DTs, those stalkers.
Oh my god.
Back to square one. Oh no. The poor planetary. How many?
Too many. 16 DTs are out on the map, and they just right-clicked that planetary. Planetary went down immediately, and now things are getting scary for XY because he lost 22 SCVs a moment ago to the Zealots. He lost the planetary. His tank count was reset. Like, everything coming up Jieshi.
Yeah, no, absolutely taking control of this late game. Just sweeping through that fight. And XY deciding, that didn't quite work out. I think I'm gonna go back to playing like Maru, as they say.
Yeah, he was doing so well earlier with his drops. Now the drops start once again, but at the same time, you can have drops.
Oh my god.
Hey, we got Blink DTs.
Oh my god, he's got Blink DTs. Where did I go? It was there a second ago.
Oh my god, it wasn't just the planetary. 27 SCVs went down as well. And what is scary is that a lot of those DTs survived.
Yeah, this massive pack of DTs can just blink on another CC and it's just gone.
I think that's what they want to do then.
They blinked on the CC and the CC disappears when you blink.
Yeah. That's exactly what's happened. And now Jieshi, he's maxed out. XY is really struggling because of his economy, because he just keeps losing workers, he keeps losing bases, and he can't build CCs fast enough to replace them.
Yeah, one of the restrictions. Oh, that's a good catch out with the MP. Oh my god, they finally got cleaned up.
Oh god, that was huge. That
Nice
was
MP.
And yeah, a very nice move there, but the army did reveal itself. Jieshi is trying to cash the drop. He doesn't have too much here, only one Colossus.
Yeah, this army over here on the side, a lot of Marauders, a couple of Ghosts. Shouldn't be incredibly phased by the Colossi, as +2/+2 is here.
Oh god, but we have the reinforcing Colossus. Yeah, EMPs do connect +3, just finished up.
Yeah. As the army comes in here, regrouping for XY, you should be able to turn this around, push Jieshi back away. And yeah, this dance for map control continues. Again, Jieshi with the massive economical lead, able to replace things as they get lost. Whereas XY still very slowly building his army up. But I think a lot of value in this with the Ghosts and the Marauders.
Definitely. Like, I think it's really important to point out that XY has done a good job at like catching the army and forcing engagements in the middle of the map. He hasn't allowed Jieshi to go for those counterattacks that he's been going for. I say that as we have all these DTs running in.
Oh my god. Part 2. Oh, the blink away from the EMP.
He dodged the EMPs.
He's sniping them. He's like, okay, I guess I can't hit the EMP. I'm just gonna start sniping them.
And I guess he got some of them. I mean, thankfully, this time the DTs didn't deal devastating damage. Like, a couple of SCVs, but the bases are still alive.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's hanging in there. He's crawling his way back. Oh, hello. Oh dear.
One lone DT is going to deal a lot of damage, but you know what? XY, he's had enough. He's across the map once again with his army. Decent amount of tanks, decent amount of ghosts.
Look at the Marauder count. That is kind of scary. Oh, walking into those tanks. There is a disruptor though, so XY's gotta watch out.
Oh, that he does, that he does. XY sees the disruptor, backs off, only forced to cancel on the base. Meanwhile, Zealot run by again. 19 SCVs went down. Hold up. How many? 78 SCVs have died this game.
Jesus.
Jieshi's only lost 6 probes.
Oh my god. XY's been the one doing all these drops and these pokes, but the one doing the damage, the economic damage. Oh my god, sorry, I just watched like 5 stalkers just get deleted.
Oh my god, exactly. Those tanks were exposed, but there wasn't enough army. There weren't enough charge ults. The problem is that the charge ults, they keep going across the map. They keep harassing across the map, which is fine, but you still need some with your main army. Yeah,
they need to be able to buffer, because if you walk into a choke like this, and there's 4 siege tanks with +1 weapons just sitting there, it's gonna hurt.
Definitely. Meanwhile, XY, he got the base. Didn't get the workers, but he did get the Nexus.
And he's got a really nice position here. He's got like a nice hold over here on this choke. He's got control of that top side angle. And he's got the tanks to cover the front side angle. This charge ball is getting credit very quickly. Really nice EMPs. Oh, but those disruptive shots. Okay, able to stem out of them. There is a slight push from the bottom here, but those Vikings doing good work. This bio pushing forward here, and all the gateway units are gone here.
Mate, everything is gone. Colossus are on the way, but they only just now started. The Vikings are landing, and XY, he's pushing through. Like, I don't think Jieshi has enough to hold.
Game bio. He brought it back.
Oh
bio
my
with maxed out upgrades.
Exactly.
Just shredding through.
It's one of those things where Protoss, what do you need? Mate, you need like Storm, you need Colossus, you need Disruptors, maybe take into Skytoss. Terran? Mate, man with gun. That's all you need.
Yeah, man with a gun, but make his gun and armor better. Just every 5 minutes, give him better gun.
Oh god.
Oop, the DT's trying to get like one last fight in, but these Marauders and this splitting is doing quite a lot of good work. And yeah, this is just looking like a little bit of a GG timing here. This is the ace match.
We do say that, but like again, like the supplies is still relatively even. To be fair, a lot of that supply is Jieshi with his workers. Like
yeah, he has 62 probes.
Yeah.
Out of 73 supply.
Exactly. What I will say is that Jieshi can afford to lose some of these spaces, and maybe XY will give him a little bit of time so Jieshi can start warping in a couple more units. Problem is, I believe both his robos were sniped, so he's stuck with only gateway units and like Archons.
Yeah, and I believe Jieshi is gonna be wanting to drop it in the main here, hit up that tech a little bit, or he could just walk the other direction.
Yeah, he's he's actually scanning everywhere. He's like, yo, what bases do you have? Why are you still in my game right now? Confirms that there are no ninja bases.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't go for the throat with the tech in the main, because even though the only mining base is that what is that, fifth base down in the corner here, all the tech is in the main and it's undefended for the most part.
Oh yeah. Like if he gets into the main, like that's it. That's GG.
Yeah, there's no more tech.
Exactly. He's holding on with 9 zealots and two DTs.
Yeah, like how is he gonna defend against like 4 medevacs dropping on top of all of the tech?
Yeah, Jieshi, he was doing so well this game, so well, but honestly, I don't think he had to fight here, outside the third base. Like, this was just such a bad place to push in, and he lost everything there.
Yeah, he just walked into 4 siege tanks. And just like ate every single EMP in the world.
And it wasn't just siege tanks, it was a massive arc as well. It was an insane semicircle of Terran.
XY had like 17 years to set up in that choke point, and he just took control of that entire like a little circle, like that semicircle in front of him.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. And Jieshi decides to just tap out.